And we're on. Fantastic. Only 10 minutes late, not bad. Hello, I'm sorry, I'm 10 minutes late. I was running around and not looking at any clocks. Yes, I said that I would start early so that Josh could actually be here for a live one. Not Pan and Scan Josh, the other Josh. So, I'm not very well prepared. As if I ever am prepared for these. Oh, yeah, here we go. What's up? Hi. This is my last few hours of being in my early 30s. Before at midnight, I turn 35 and become a national voter. It's going to be quite sad because I'm obviously going to destroy many friendships by, saying things that Jesus would say, like, let's not give poor kids free breakfast in schools. That kind of thing. But it happens to us all, I think. Anyway, I want you all to remember me this way. But yeah, okay. I'm not going to start reading until Josh gets here because he really wanted to be here for a live one. But I'm just going to read some of the scary stories from the from the many copies of the collection Turned Gay by the existential dread that I may actually be a character in a Chuck Tingle book. Good title. Hi, Jessie. Thank you. My birthday's technically tomorrow, but I won't be streaming tomorrow. My sister will be here. Very exciting. The house is a complete mess. It's horrible. What are you going to do? Clean? So, there are a few collections, Chuck Tingle collections here. There are two. There's Space Raptor Butt Trilogy. These boots are made for pounding, and that's just what they'll do one of these days. These boots are going to pound me in the butt. Also, excellent title. And 2 of his 7 collections, Scary Stories to Tingle Your Butt, 7 Tales of Gay Terror. So, yeah. I'm in love with the handsome mummy race car in my butt. That could continue the race car theme that we started last time. 3 and 4, I'm not sure what they're called because the title didn't come up. Stranger Pounds. Pounded by my handsome ghost boats. England's ass is haunted by a hung parliament. Topical. We're a little bit kissed on the wiener by my own wiener. That's going to be an interesting visual, I think. I'm not sure what's supposed to be frightening about that, though. Is it haunted? Bigfoot pirates haunt my balls, that's one. Vampire Night Bus pounds my butt, also a good title. Angry man pounded by the fear of his latent gayness over a dinosaur transitioning into a unicorn. I mean, if you're not secure enough in your masculinity. I know, the titles are so good, I can't believe there are stories to go with them. My ass is haunted by the gay unicorn colonel, obviously. The state of California stalks my gay butthole. Quite scary. The curse of Bigfoot butt camp. straightforward. And reamed by my reaction to the title of this book. And Space Raptor Butt Invasion. So we really are spoilt for choice. Josh, if you're there, Josh M, not Josh Pan and Scan, just tell me and I will start reading then. I know, and if you look up his book covers, they're even better. They're so good. Kind of looks like I started These Boots Are Made for Pounding. No. No, don't think so. Space Raptor Butt Trilogy does sound really good, but I do want to read a shorter story so I can read a few shorter stories, you know. And I'm also doing Trains Wizard Harriet Porber. So far, that hasn't had any erotic scenes in it yet. So, page 1 of 2? Wait, what's on page 2? Oh, no, there's just a dictionary. Okay. Right, I will just check on Josh because I started early so he could be here. Dude, I'm on. Let's go. Paste. This is the exact same lipstick my nanny uses, I think. Oh, try not to think about that. Okay, scary stories to tingle your butt. That's what it's going to be. But which one? Oh, yeah. I think, yeah. I know which one I want to read. What? No, I don't want to type. No. I'm doing good. I'm not breaking anything. Hey, Nick. We're just waiting for the other Josh to show up because I told him I would do one when he could be free to watch it. Pounded in the Butt by Pandora's Box. Extended director's cut. God, Pandora's Box was great. Such a good movie. And yeah, we usually chat and bullshit for about 10 minutes before we start, so we're still pretty much on course. Kia ora koutou, everybody. Hello, welcome to the wait, what do I call it? Liveread nights. I'm taking back the Donald Trump gesture, and now it just means Liveread nights. Thought I heard a monster outside. Okay, well, I'm not going to wait forever. So here we go. Scary Stories to Tingle Your Butt by Chuck Tingle. Angry man pounded by the fear of his latent gayness over a dinosaur transitioning into a unicorn. Good title. I don't think you can see. You can kind of see the cover art. It's pretty good. Whoever draws that, designs these is also very gifted. Okay, I'm ready. What in the hell is this? I ask aloud, the words simply falling out of my mouth as a photo fills my screen. I'm on some liberal news website that I normally wouldn't be caught dead on, but a friend of a friend emailed me the link. I try desperately to make sense of what I'm seeing, because all that I can gather from this photo is a sexy, majestic unicorn looks ready to party. It's clearly a picture from some Hollywood photo shoot. Yeah, me too. Which normally wouldn't rev me up on principle alone, but even I have to admit that this horned beast is absolutely gorgeous. After ogling the unicorn for a bit, I click back to the email and make sure I followed the correct link, reading the message aloud. You won't believe what Bort Jenkins looks like now, the message reads. This is so wrong. He's the Dracula, obviously. I shake my head. Clearly, the friend who sent me this made a big mistake, because the photo in question is definitely not of Bort Jenkins, Tyrannosaurus athlete, and star of the hit reality TV show Borting Up with the Dinosaurs. Just gonna type that down here. Borting Up with the Dinosaurs. His name is Bort. My son's name is also Bort. Instead, my buddy sent me the link to a sweet and sassy unicorn princess, and I can't say that I'm disappointed. God damn, you're a fine-looking little piece of ass, aren't you? I groan, leaning back into my chair and unzipping my pants. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button and went to the next story. There you are! Okay, Josh, you didn't get to choose the story, so we're reading Angry Man Pounded by the Fear of His Latent Gayness Over a Dinosaur Transitioning into a Unicorn. Oh, cool! Oh, that's great. Awesome. Okay, this guy's friend has just sent him he's a Dracula, and he's sent him a link to a sexy, sassy unicorn. And he's like, wait, isn't this a dinosaur? On Borting Up with the Dinosaurs? The dinosaur's name is Bort. Dracula is leaning back into my chair and unzipping my pants, excited to beat one out before the old battle axe gets home. Unfortunately, I get no more than 2 strokes in before that's exactly what happens. Carl! My wife screams from outside the apartment, her shrill voice sending a sharp chill down my spine. I immediately zip up my pants and jump to my feet, closing down the computer and walking over to the front door. I pull it open. Why the fuck is the door locked? My wife screeches, pushing past me and almost knocking me over with her incredible size. She's holding a grocery bag in each hand, each of them seemingly overflowing with beer. My wife sets the bags down on the kitchen table and then she has no name, and then pulls out a tabloid magazine from one of the bags. Did you see this? She asks, thrusting the magazine into my face. Bam Bam, I say, trying to calm her down. Chill. She does have a name, it's Bam Bam. You expect me to chill when this kind of sinful behavior is being peddled to our kids? Bam Bam screams. We don't have kids, I tell her calmly. But if we did, my wife protests, this is the kind of freak show the media would be rolling out for them. I don't know who. I think she's some kind of cross between Janice Soprano and that woman who screams on SpongeBob. Maybe I'm not thinking of SpongeBob. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I finally take the magazine from my wife's hands, my wife Bam Bam the dinosaur, and look at the photo on the front, freezing abruptly as the image hits my eyes. It's the same painfully sexy unicorn that I had been beating off to just moments before. It's one of those casual phrases people use What is this? I ask, suddenly very concerned. Bort Jenkins, Bam Bam tells me. I stare at the magazine cover for a while and then look back into my wife's eyes, trying to figure out if she's joking or not. Hey, Kane, what's up? Bam Bam the dinosaur, yes. Mrs. Bam Bam. When a dinosaur marries a Dracula, you're going to have tension. From that reality show? I ask. I don't think so. Honey, my wife says, taking the magazine out of my hands and holding it up to my face once more so I can get a really good look. She puts one of her chubby, long-nailed fingers on the cover and taps it repeatedly. This says Bort Jenkins now. I can't help but laugh. Bort Jenkins is a dinosaur, though. Not anymore, Bam Bam tells me. There's something about the look in my wife's eyes that finally convinces me she's no longer joking. And as I glance back at the magazine one final time, my blood runs cold. Evelyn, hey! We're reading Man Pounded by Fear of His Latent Gayness over a dinosaur transitioning into a unicorn. If that makes sense, which it does. All the pieces of the puzzle suddenly begin falling into place, swirling through my brain like a vicious tornado until eventually there is just nowhere else to run. He had a uni change, Bam Bam says, disgusted. He's a unicorn now. Of course. Yeah, of course. This is his wife, Bam Bam. The words hit me like a punch in the gut, causing me to almost double over completely with their devastating force. I feel sick to my stomach as visions of the last 10 minutes wash over me in brutal waves, particularly the part where I was pleasuring myself to the images of who I know is Bort. At first I try to, hey, the other Josh. Thank you. It's not my birthday till midnight, but, you know. Danny! Oh, this is so lovely. Trying so to desperately convince myself that I had never seen him as an attractive, mystical creature, somehow knowing deep down inside that a vicious T-Rex lurked within. Despite my best efforts, though, I just can't do it. I know the truth of my actions. Sickening, right? My wife says, not quite understanding the blank look on my face as my skin goes pale. I nod. Just terrible. It's Bort. I stumble a little, almost losing my footing and then catching myself. I think I need to get some fresh air, I blurt, staggering towards the door of our apartment. We've got quite a nice little group here, haven't we? You don't want any dinner? My wife asks. Maybe in a bit. I stammer, not knowing exactly what to say. I throw open the door and step outside, looking back at Bam Bam. I just need a little time to myself, that's all. I close the door behind me, and almost immediately my wife starts screaming like a vicious dog who's been tied up too tight. Her words are almost incoherent, a stream of belligerence that I can't even begin to decipher. I stumble away quickly down the front walk, trying to put as much distance between me and her as possible, should she come stumbling out after me. Soon I'm walking down the side of the road, my legs carrying me wherever they want to go, as my mind travels to all of its darkest corners imaginable. It's just normal allergies. I'm not sick. I bring the people who fit in a very strange niche. Welcome. You are all welcome here. There is no denying it now. I was attracted to a unicorn that started as a dinosaur. The admission fills me with so much dread and rage that I actually have to stop for a moment and find my way over into a nearby ditch, vomiting profusely as the cars continue to stream by. Someone honks loudly as they pass. Whoops. Probably. I keep going forward by an entire story instead of a page. Not stupid, I'm smart. I'm getting there. Someone honks loudly as they pass, probably mistaking me for a drunk, and I angrily flip them off as they disappear into the distance. How could this have happened to me? A red-blooded American male, I've loved unicorns since the day I was born. Their long, flowing manes, their sturdy, powerful hooves, and last but not least, their shiny ivory horns that twist up towards the sun in a perfect spiral of beauty. Yeah, we've all rage vomited in a ditch. In fact, just thinking about them right now turns me on enough to develop a hearty, half-chubbed erection. Hearty. Hearty like a soup. But Bort Jenkins was no unicorn. He was an abomination. This character is a conservative, by the way, for everyone who wasn't here right at the beginning. I'm straight as an arrow, never once finding a dinosaur to be sexually attractive in any way. Sure, some of the football-playing raptors on TV had impressive bodies, but if I'm looking to get myself off, I'd much rather tune into the Unicorn Football League. I suddenly shudder just thinking about the UFL, remembering that they had recently allowed their first human player. What is this world coming to? Yeah, I think he is married to a dinosaur. Maybe this is all a lot more complicated than just substituting male and female for dinosaurs and unicorns. Maybe there's more going on. I don't know. I fall to my knees on the side of the ground and look up towards the sky, praying that God is looking down on me and listening. What is wrong with me? I cry out, my body filled with excruciating pain and overwhelming depression. I am not dinosexual. I am not dinosexual. I thought that was the end of the story, but I just done exactly the same thing and gone forwards to the next story. Oh, come on, bitch, focus. I was thinking about dinosaurs. Here we go. Yeah. Not knowing what else to do, I let my head fall into my hands and begin to cry, the tears falling down my face as I realize that I have become my own worst nightmare. I think back with pride to all the times that I had bullied dinosexuals as a child, or posted hateful comments about them online. I used to be so cool, and now I'm just as bad as they are. He's right, I think homophobes do think they're cool. After kneeling here for some time, I finally lift my head up, my gaze stopping on a bright neon sign that flickers just across the road from me in golden yellow. It's the local unicorn strip club. It's the local unicorn strip club. And never have I been more thankful for its presence. I climb to my feet and immediately head across the parking lot towards the blacked out front doors, ready to prove that I'm a real man who wants to bone hot unicorns and only hot unicorns. Oh, it's not just the substitution, it's the absurdity of what they're substituting. It's like, Is there really a difference between wanting to bone a dinosaur and a unicorn? Not to be confused with the International Unicorn Strip Club. I mean, obviously. Obviously. Ugh. I practically kick open the... Fucking hell, I did it again. I did it again. There's a cat outside. Come on, sweetie. I know. It's very, very chilly outside. Haven't adjusted this dress yet. Let's just go forward. Yeah, well spotted, Nick. She's inside now. She's happy. I'm not dinosexual. I want to bone unicorns. Only hot unicorns. I practically kick open the doors as I reach them, flashing the bouncer my ID and then immediately taking a seat at the very front of the stage. All right, slams a booming voice over the club's loudspeaker. Our next dancer comes to you all the way from Tennessee. He's a rootin' tootin' cowboy named Dasher, and he's ready to clop his way into your heart. Everyone give it up for the one, the only, Dasher Sprinkles. Wait. So the unicorns can be boys or girls. And the dinosaurs can be boys or girls. But you're only allowed to be attracted to dinosaurs if... Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. Seconds later, the most incredible, muscular unicorn I've ever seen steps out into the stage, dressed up to the nines in a very slutty little cowboy outfit that he immediately gets to work stripping out of. The whole world around me seems to stop as Dasher works his magic, clopping back and forth, and then eventually taking a few spins around the pole. Yeah, it's impossible. It really is. Several other men quickly join me at the front of the stage, and soon enough, the money is raining down onto the gorgeous young dancer. Dasher is loving every second of it, putting on a show like nothing I've ever seen. I guess a unicorn stripping out of a cowboy outfit would be unlike anything I had ever seen personally. Yet somehow, I'm not getting hard. I look down towards my cock, which rests just behind a thin layer of fabric within my pants. Come on, I coax. You love this shit, bro. My dick doesn't move a muscle, absolutely refusing to affirm my strong attraction to the handsome unicorn. Come on, I coax, beads of sweat forming on my forehead as the anxiety continues to blossom within me. Come on! Dracula saying you love this shit, bro, to anyone is funny. I suddenly feel... Yeah, he's talking to the only brain he knows. I suddenly feel a twitch of something lustful in my groin, but before it can get any further, the song ends, and Dasher begins to collect his money from the stage. Wait! I shout frantically, suddenly right back to where I started. Don't go! Despite all of the chatter around us, Dasher hears me and looks up from his bouquet of dollar bills. You want a private dance, baby? The unicorn asks. if Bort, the other unicorn, shows up, who'll also have the Australian accent. Boris's car loft was really good. Yes, I nod frantically. Please. The next thing I know, Dasher Sprinkles has taken my hand in his hoof and is leading me across the strip club to a curtained-off back room. I follow him excitedly, my heart pounding hard within my chest. Why don't you just have a seat? Dasher offers once we're all alone, leading me over to a red velvet couch and then closing the curtains behind us. The unicorn immediately gets to work, swaying his hips back and forth, his muscular body entrancing me more and more with every movement. God damn, you look so good, I say, unable to contain my excitement. Oh, yeah? The unicorn coos. You think so? I know so, I tell him. I'm not some dinosaur lover or anything like that. I know good unicorn tail when I see it. The dancer freezes suddenly, stopping abruptly as my words hit his ears. What did you say? Dasher questions. Oh, I just meant that I am not some dino chaser, I say. I'm a man's man, you know? 9 people. 9 people's a lot. The look on the unicorn's face changes slightly, his once joyful expression transforming to one of contempt and utter disappointment. So real men don't like dinosaurs? The unicorn asks. Well, yeah, I stammer, not exactly sure what I should say or why this dancer is getting so upset with me. Suddenly, a perfect example dawns on me. Like Bort Jenkins, right? He was born as a dinosaur. That's the way that God made him, and he should just stay that way. It's the natural order of things. But ironic, but he wasn't written to be a Dracula, so that's just an extra layer. Dasher shakes his head. You're disgusting. Get out. What? I shout, standing up. I'm giving you a fucking compliment here. Do you honestly think you have the right to tell Bort Jenkins, or any other dinosaur for that matter, what they're allowed to do with their own bodies? The now furious unicorn dancer yells as bouncers start approaching from either side. What fucking right do you have? The massive bouncers grab me by either arm, and I immediately struggle against them, enraged by the way this plan is turning out. What are you asking? I scream at the unicorn dancer as the bouncers pick me up and start carrying me towards the door. Are you asking me if I hate dinosaurs that become unicorns? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, I do. The entire strip club starts booing me, a few patrons actually helping to clear the way as the bouncers carry me out. The next thing I know, the front door of the club opens and I'm being thrown through the air, hurtling several feet before slamming hard onto the pavement and rolling end over end. I tumble for a while and then eventually come to rest, bloody and bruised, while the club door slams shut behind me. There was always going to be transphobia in this story. He's being pounded in the butt by his realization that he's attracted to. That's the title. You weren't here for that. Dinosaurs are dinosaurs! Unicorns are unicorns! I scream out into the night. Deal with it! I don't know really how to do this, so I'm just going to say that picture of Stephen Crowder saying there are only two genders changed my mind. It takes a few minutes, but eventually I manage to drag myself to my feet and begin the defeated walk back home to the apartment. It's late now, and very few cars continue up and down the road. Instead of rumbling engines, my senses are overwhelmed by the chirping crickets who call out from somewhere deep inside the nearby forest. Oh, I should probably cut through, I think to myself, realizing now just how long I've been gone. My wife is going to kill me when I get home, and as much as I dread returning, the sooner I get there, the better. I immediately veer off the road and into the wood, muttering to myself under my breath as though anything I say could possibly change the fact that I had, just moments before, thought a dinosaur was attractive enough to jerk off to. Very sad. The trees have grown thicker and thicker around me as I continue deeper still, and eventually the moon above is blocked out by the crisscross of gnarled branches that hang above. "Cow!" a voice suddenly moans. I stop and immediately turn around to look behind me. There's nothing there. "Hello?" Now, I don't know who this is, so I'm just going to do the Australian one. "Hello," I call out, my voice bouncing back to me across the assortment of twisting trees. Eventually, I begin walking again, but it's not long before I hear the voice for a second time. I spin back around, once more greeted by absolutely nothing. "You don't want to mess with me tonight," I call out into the dark woods. "Don't fuck with me, 'cause I ain't scared." "Not scared?" a voice suddenly asks. I spin and nearly fall over backwards in shock at what I see. There, hovering before me, is a massive, misty apparition in the shape of a face. It floats menacingly, its form changing and shifting slightly in the wind, but for the most part, retaining the look of an enormous hollow skull with ghostly nude bodies flowing through it. I lean in closer to see that the muscular bodies within this thing's ethereal form belong to dinosaurs. "What are you?" I ask, my voice trembling. The skull laughs. "You already know the answer to that one, Carl. You just can't accept it yet." I shake my head. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Do you know why you're so afraid of Bort Jenkins?" the skull asks me. I guess it's a ghost. I don't know. I saw it on the cover art, but I didn't think it was literal. Why didn't I think it was literal? This is Chuck Tingle. What possible reason could I have for thinking that image would not come up? "I'm not afraid of Bort Jenkins," I counter. "I am angry at the example he sets." A lot of the time, anger is just fear in disguise, the skull explains. This is one of those times. I shake my head, not wanting to accept the words that are being thrown my way. "Fuck that. I don't want to hear this," I say. I know, chuckles the hazy skull. It's a giant skull. "But I'm not going to go away anytime soon, because I'm a part of you, Carl. You might as well just deal with your feelings right here and now." "What feelings?" I scream at the appreciation at the apparition, fed up. "The fact that you're attracted to a unicorn who was once a dinosaur makes you question your own sexuality," explains the skull. "And the only way for you to deal with that is to say that there's something wrong with the unicorn, when in fact, the only person with a problem is you." "No, no, no," I shout, putting my hands over my ears as I fall to my knees. "You're lying. This is just a dinosaur trick." "Afraid not," says the skull. "And while we're at it, I guess you should know that you're a repressed homosexual too." Wait, being gay also exists in this world? Suddenly, the skull has gone a little too far for any of this to be believable. I crack a smile and stand back up. "You had me going there for a minute, but the gay thing is just a little too much." "You were just at a bar full of male strippers," the skull says flatly. "Male unicorn strippers," I explain. "Big difference." What? The skull shakes from side to side midair. "There's no difference, Carl." His words repeat over and over again within my head, bouncing around in an endless loop that seems to drift deeper and deeper into the most hidden parts of my soul. Eventually, I can't hear anything else. Tears begin to well up in my eyes, my emotions suddenly too overwhelming to contain within my body. Well, I hope he gets pounded by the giant skull. I think he'd be happy. He'd have a good excuse to divorce his terrible wife. Oh my god, I stammer, the entire universe suddenly opening up before me in a blast of cathartic realization. I hate Boris Jenkins because I'm jealous of him. He's so open with his sexuality, while I keep mine pushed deep down inside, hidden away. The skull nods. That's correct. I don't want to hide anymore, I say. Like you said, there is no difference. It's all love, the skull agrees. I'm gay, I say, the words filling my soul with beautiful warmth. I like unicorns and dinosaurs. It's actually a very touching story. Suddenly, the misty skull is swirling around me. Here we go, enveloping me in its sensual touch. I close my eyes and let out a soft moan, reeling from the sensation of being held by a personified version of my own repressed sexual identity. I want you, I say. I want to be who I'm supposed to be. The mist begins to take shape around me, forming personified manifestations of my latent gayness. And I have to admit, they look good. Hunky, ethereal men with absolutely massive erections projecting out from their bodies. I look down and suddenly realize that I too am hard. After all this effort, nothing was more arousing than losing my own sexual inhibitions. Finally, I just can't take it anymore, overwhelmed with ecstasy as I drop to my knees. I start to beat off the mist furiously, a cock in each hand as I make my way around the circle. Oh my god, I say, overwhelmed by the forest of dick that surrounds me. I can't believe how gay I really am. All of this time spent hating people who are different from me, and now I realize that I'm just as different as they are. In your own way, says the mist. We're all different in our own way, and that's okay. The personified sexual fear seems to enjoy my touch, groaning in turn as I take my time with each one of their rods. They rock their hips to the movement of my hands, closing their eyes tightly as my firm grip pleasures them. Just a forest of dicks, the story. It touched my heart, and then it touched my funny bone, then it touched a forest of dicks. He's a wonderful man. Suddenly, one of the ethereal forms puts his hand behind my head and pushes forward, thrusting his massive shaft between my lips. I swallow him gladly, taking as much length as I can until he's pressing hard against my gag reflex. It's a metaphor. I try my best to relax and allow him past, but it's just too much to bear, and suddenly I'm retching loudly, sputtering as I pull his rod out in a flurry of spit. I gasp for air, trying to collect myself as more and more hazy cocks are pressed against my mouth, anxious for their turn. Seconds later, I'm taking the latent gayness deep once again, hungrily swallowing his massive dick and letting it expertly slip down into my depths. Somehow, I manage to relax enough to allow him passage beyond my gag reflex. It's a metaphor. And the next thing I know, his balls are pressed tightly against my chin, his cock completely disappearing within my neck. The strange being holds me there for a moment, enjoying the sensation of controlling me just as much as I enjoy being controlled. He starts to push me up and down slightly, using me as his own private play toy for a moment before letting me up in a frantic gasp for air. The balls are also a metaphor. Yeah. Well, the being pounded by the dentist made him realize that the pain in his tooth was actually a pain caused by not getting pounded. And now this pain is the metaphorical pain of not accepting your own sexual orientation. And the balls are a metaphor for balls, yeah. Yeah. It's just a forest of dicks and, well, something like a forest, but it's balls. No, I think the balls represent wisdom because the balls are on his chin, which is where normally a beard would be, like a wizard's beard. Uh, maybe? Yeah, the balls represent wisdom. Anyway, getting back to the narrative, the cocks continue to be thrust between my lips from every direction. Orbs of enlightenment. And I quickly lose track of just how many I've taken. I spend a little time with each one, bobbing my head over their length as I use my hands to beat off the others, two at a time. The chin is the window to the soul. Yes, indeed. I lick up and down on their enormous shafts, running my tongue from balls to tip before swallowing them down again. Everyone who has a beard has it because they have had balls on their chin at some point. It's true. Probably. The scene is frantic and wild, a completely depraved expression of all my pent up sexual bigotry that's been dying to be exorcised. At this point, my dick is absolutely aching to be touched, throbbing between my legs as I yearn to be penetrated up the arse by any one of their massive, misty cocks. I can't believe I forgot about his dick in the forest of all the other dicks. That's not like me, you guys. I'm sorry. Please, I gasp, pulling a member from my throat and looking up at the supernatural beings with huge doe eyes. I need to be fucked. Dracula voice was a good decision. One of the ethereal beings quickly drops to his knees behind me and begins to align his dick with my tight asshole. I look back at him and give him a playful wink, and then cry out loudly as he thrusts forward and stretches my tightness around the girth of his huge rod. His size is incredible, filling me completely as he pushes in and out with a slow, powerful grace. Oh, fuck, I moan, my hands tightly gripping the green grass in front of me. That personified sexual redneck fear feels so fucking good inside this tight butthole. It's a classic Dracula line. It's the latent gayness hammering me from behind soon finds a pleasant rhythm and speeds up, his thrust becoming a powerful, pulsing slam against my round ass. Meanwhile, the misty apparitions around my face have stepped back and formed an orderly line. The first one shoving his cock down my throat so that I'm now being pounded from both ends. They push in and out of me in tandem with one another, timing their movements so that they're slamming my muscular body back and forth across their lengths like I'm some beautiful human sex kebab. One thing's for sure, though. Cute. One thing's for sure, though. They know what they're doing, and it's not long before I find myself trembling as a prostate orgasm begins to blossom within me. I reach down and try to help it along, using my hand to rapidly stroke my throbbing cock as the quakes of pleasure continue to course through my body. That's not Osymatic, it's House. Oh, orbs of enlightenment. Oh, balls of self-loathing. I moan into the dick that fills my mouth, preparing for a powerful climax. But then suddenly, the cocks within me pull out, and another two take their place, instantly starting the process over again. I was wondering how the cue worked. It's a fair assumption to make. These new misty men are just as hung as the first. That's how the cue works. and they waste no time picking up speed as they plough my tight holes. I brace myself against their thrusts, my eyes rolling back into my head as I struggle to handle the intense waves of pleasure being pounded through my body. They continue like this for a good while and then, like before, switch out with another pair of ethereal beings. Eventually, all of the manifestations have had a turn within me. I'm still aching to come, but the Mistmen still have much more in store for my once closeted body. One of the creatures lies down onto the ground next to me and instructs me to climb onto him, which I do happily. I straddle his body with my manly legs. And from where I sit, I can now fully appreciate his ridiculously muscular, yet foggy chest, which heaves and expands with every deep breath. I run my hands down the washboard abs of my own latent gayness, and then take his rock-hard dick in my hand, maneuvering it into the entrance of my tightness, and then slipping down onto him as I impale my reamed asshole onto his rod. So romantic. I slide down his length slowly, letting out a soft whimper when I reach the hilt, and then start in with a slow grind. I was wrong about everything, I confess, my body tingling with absolute ecstasy. My swoops against the personified fear grow harder and harder, rapidly gaining speed until I am hammering down onto him with all of my force. My latent gayness helps me along with his powerful arms, taking my hips in his hands and guiding me into perfect alignment with his massive, swollen cock. At this point, I'm completely overwhelmed, my brain flooding with the most depraved, gay, sexual thoughts possible. I crave more pleasure, more sex, more cock. Someone get over here and shove another dick up my fucking ass, I suddenly demand, surprising even myself. I need to be double fucked right now. He's counting all the dicks. One. One of the misty beings quickly takes his position behind me, squatting down and aligning his massive cock with the rim of my already filled asshole. It's a tense fit, the muscle of my ass fighting against his advances, as he slowly pushes the head of his dick into my anal seal. Harder, I command, looking back over my shoulder with a wicked fire in my eyes. Just shove that fat dick inside of me. Punish me for being such a bad little bigot. The latent gayness takes my words to heart and immediately thrusts forward, driving his dick up into my rectum in one powerful thrust. I just remembered I forgot to tag this video R18. I'll go back and do that. I'll do that afterwards. I scream aloud in a mixture of pain and pleasure, my entire body in shock from the bizarre sensation of two giant cocks fucking me in the same arsehole. The next thing I know, the mists are pumping back and forth within me, pulsing together so that their shafts create an incredible rhythm of pleasure. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. Fuck me, I'm screaming in a belligerent trance, until suddenly one of the hazy men steps forward and shoves his cock down my throat, cutting me off and turning my shrieks into a strange, muted gargle. Eventually, the ethereal creatures pull out and flip me over so that my back rests firmly against the latent sexual repression beneath me, while a second one pummels my ass from the front. Of course, a third misty man takes my mouth, and suddenly I'm back to where I started, with every gay hole filled to the max. The mist begins to trade places within me, fucking me hard with their massive rods, and then, right when I'm just about ready to come, they pull out and let another one of the strange beings take their place. I quickly find myself lost in the frenzy of dick. My mind melting into a sexed-up, cock-hungry animal just aching to climax. No sooner have I lost myself in their tornado of dick when suddenly that familiar orgasmic sensation starts to bloom within me again, coming on strong and fast. I reach down between my legs and attack my cock, rapidly stroking myself as the sensations within me grow bigger and bigger, and then suddenly they erupt within my body. I let out a powerful scream that reverberates through the dick in my mouth. My eyes close tight and my stomach clenched tighter. Lost in the frenzy of dick, every gay hole filled to the max. It's just. Who was that tit who thought that cellar door was the most beautiful phrase in the English language? Wrong, my friend. Wave after wave of ecstasy pulses through me, and for a brief moment, I forget where I am, leaving my shell in an out-of-body experience. Jizz erupts from my cock, splattering everywhere. It's a happy ending. I finish coming and then immediately collapse onto the ground next to the misty beings, who stand up and form a tight circle around me while they beat their dicks furiously. I look up at them through a lustful haze and beg for their jizz. Cover me with your fucking gay loads, I command. I need your seed all over this bigoted bro face. It's not long before the strange creatures are beginning to blow, the first two of them shooting their loads onto my face, in crossed ropes of milky white semen. Oh, we have a chocolate here called Milky White. It's going to be a little while before I eat that again. It splatters across me and runs down my cheeks, a few white droplets catching playfully in my eyelashes. I open my mouth and stick out my tongue, and then catch the next load as it sails through the air towards me. More, I demand. I need more gay cum. Load after load rains down onto me, covering my entire face with a pearly glaze of jizz. I lick it off my lips happily, swallowing hard, and then finally taking the last one of them right on the forehead. They call that execution style. Oh no, sorry, that's the back of the head. The mist fall back and find seats around the room, panting with exhaustion. I thought they were outside. Holy fuck, I say aloud, reaching up and touching the thick layer of spunk that's plastered onto my face. It's like that famous Dracula line, I never drink gay cum. Which was, as we know, was a lie. I step through the door of the apartment and find my wife, Bam Bam, waiting silently on the couch, her teeth gritted in anger. Where the fuck were you? Bam Bam asks. I had to think about some things, I tell her. I bet, my wife retorts. It's another woman, isn't it? Actually, I tell her, it's another man. Yeah, Bam Bam. His wife's name is Bam Bam. I think she's a dinosaur too. It's very confusing. Bam Bam starts to laugh. What the fuck are you talking about? It's another man, I repeat. Myself. My wife stops laughing. You can get the fuck out, I say. Bam Bam's face goes through a quick series of emotions, from confusion to utter rage and then to amusement. You don't have what it takes to kick me out of your life, she snarls. I know courage and you don't have it. I'm more of a man than you'll ever be. Get out, I repeat. Bam Bam stands up and walks over to the door, at which point I grab the tabloid magazine off of the kitchen table and push it into her hands, Bort Jenkins' smiling unicorn face still there on the cover. You want to learn something about courage, I say. Read this. I slam the door and begin my brand new life. Well, that story took me a few places I wasn't expecting. It's actually quite a lovely story. I still can't figure out. It's like there are men and women in this universe, but there are also dinosaurs and unicorns. And sometimes, but maybe his wife isn't a dinosaur. Maybe she's a cave person. Yeah, I think I think it surprised me a lot less than the protagonist. I at least had read the title. Oh my god. That was pretty good. Um should we read another scary story? Or do another chapter of Harriet Porber, um, trans wizard and adult romance? Or neither? Hang on, we've got more scary stories. I'll be thinking about this guy for a while, I think. Flip a coin. I don't have a coin. I don't have a coin anywhere. I give all my coins to people on the street. How long is this one? Very long. It's these boots are made for pounding. Oh, Bigfoot. I have got Bigfoot. And Harriet Porber. Okay. I'm going to do Bigfoot and then some Harriet Porber if I'm still, you know. I just need to find which book it's in. The Curse of Bigfoot Butt Camp. Oh god, of course there's an app. Oh well. Evelyn asked for some Bigfoot and it's her Kindle. This is actually a very good activity for me to be doing because then I'm not thinking about how many hours I have left until my birthday and being afraid that I'm going to turn old instantly at midnight, which I will. The Curse of Bigfoot Butt Camp by Chuck Tingle. And I don't want to give anything away, but Bigfoot looks to be a mummy as well. So no, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. Tally's coming tomorrow. Excuse me. I'll admit that the words adult summer camp are laughable on the surface. After all, there is a reason we eventually grow up and stop traipsing around in the woods doing crafts and pitching tents. I'll be half your age. You can't be 70. You're not 70, Nick. Unless you are, in which case there's nothing wrong with being 70. That reason is real world. Turning old is like turning into a werewolf. You don't feel different until one day someone shows their ass and you can feel your hair stand up. Yeah, good thought. I mean, I'm already a werewolf, so shouldn't be that different. That reason is real world responsibility. It might be fun to spend a weekend telling ghost stories around a roaring campfire, but it's not the easiest thing to fit into one's adult schedule. Some things, however, are worth the vacation days. I first hear about Bigfoot Butt Camp from my friend Jeff, who would also be attending his first year out in the woods with me. Where's Jeff going to be from? Dude, they have a giant trampoline and a zip line. If you don't come, you're gonna regret it, my coworker says. Yeah, I won't turn old instantly at midnight. But if I do, that would be pretty funny, briefly. Then I'd be upset. I laugh to myself as I take in Jeff's excitement from across the table. We're in a diner next door to the office, taking our lunch break over a shared BLT and a plate of fries. I don't know, man, I tell him. I'm gonna pull my back out on that thing or something. I'm too old now. You are 25, Jeff informs me, rolling his eyes. We're still very young, you know? But not summer camp young, I counter. Oh, yeah, Fargo accent. I find it easier to do stupid accents when I'm just saying dumb stuff off the top of my head. I find it a lot harder to do it when I'm reading things off the page, as you guys know. That is the point, Jeff says. Why should they have all of the fun? Look at us, working day in, day. Oh no, I have done it again. I went forward too far. Quel dommage. That is the point, Jeff says. Why should they have all of the fun? Look at us, working day in, day out at the office, slaving away for rent, a car payment, a new fucking suit. How great would it be if all we had to worry about for a week was whether or not we'd earn our fishing merit badge? They have badges? I question. They have everything, Jeff tells me. I think about this for a moment, considering whether a weekend off in the woods with my friend sounds better than the trip I had already planned to Mexico. Sacred blue, indeed. I shrug. The beach can wait. All right, I'll go, I tell him. But to be honest, I just want to hang out with some big feet. Even though the big feet have been mostly integrated into our culture at this point, seeing them in the flesh is still something of a rarity. I can't imagine what it would be like to spend a whole week with the majestic creatures up close instead of just a few limited interactions on my way to and from work. Uh, at the Curse of Bigfoot Butt Camp is the story we're doing right now. Have you ever hung out with a Bigfoot? Asks Jeff. Not really, I tell him. I had a meeting with one from the New York division the other day, but the rest of his team did most of the talking. There's one living a few doors down at my apartment building, too, but I rarely see him. By R.L. Stein. Yes. You know, they say Senator Yuldoch is going to run for president this year, Jeff informs me. Can you imagine that? A Bigfoot as president. I take a long sip from my drink. The whole idea really does sound too crazy to be true, but it's a brand new world that we live in. Yeah, it's nuts, I finally tell him. Not sponsored by Diet Coke. Not yet. Bigfoot Butt Camp is located deep in the Oregon wilderness, far removed from the hustle and bustle city life that I've grown accustomed to. It's actually a little intimidating to be out here in a place that still seems to belong to these once mythical creatures, instead of spotting one riding the bus or shopping for groceries. There is something about the confines of an urban setting that has robbed these modern big feet of their sublime natural beauty. Jeff and I pull my SUV up to a large wooden gate that restricts access to the remainder of the desolate dirt road. There is a massive sign hanging above us that has been constructed from lashed branches, spelling out the words Bigfoot Butt Camp in jagged wood. Below, and just off the side of the road, is a tall hut from which a Bigfoot slowly emerges. The beast walks over to our car as I roll down the driver's side window. Are they people or animals? The language here is very concerning. "Welcome to camp, boys," the Bigfoot says with a wide smile. He reaches out his utterly humongous hand and we shake. "Just go ahead and drive down to your left. Head towards the lake. There's going to be parking right there. We've got a bonfire going already, so just find a seat. The opening ceremony will start in about 20 minutes. I nod. "Thanks." The Bigfoot heads back into his hut, and seconds later the gate is swinging open to allow us entry. I turn to Jeff. "Okay, fine. This is fucking awesome." Jeff laughs. Jeff laughs in French. Yeah, I gather that the Bigfoot extended universe is probably has the answers to all my questions. We travel a short distance along the rest of the dirt road until the thick forest opens up into a beautiful view of Abs Lake. The lake named after Abs, which stretches out before us in all of its picturesque glory. I park the car and step out into the fresh air, taking a deep breath as I close my eyes and lean my head back. The afternoon sun is pleasant against my skin, and it suddenly hits me just how rarely I find myself out from under the shadow of a tall building while back in the big city. "You're going to just stand there all day, Ken?" Jeff asks me with a laugh. I open my eyes. "You were right. I did need to get out of town," I tell him. Jeff grabs my bag from the trunk of the SUV and hands it to me, then throws his own over his shoulder. My friend gives me a solid pat on the back. "I know," he says with a smile. Without much time before the introductory bonfire, Jeff and I forego setting up in our designated tent spot and instead head directly towards the opening ceremony to grab a seat. The walk is not far. Soon enough, we find ourselves in a large clearing that overlooks Lake Abs in all of its smooth, reflective glory. There is a raging fire out front, while a set of elevated benches make their way around the outer rim, already packed with excited men who are just buzzing with anticipation for the weekend. It's just a camp for men. Jeff and me find a seat near the back. Seconds later, a large Bigfoot in shorts and an official-looking button-up comes walking up from the forest and stands before the bonfire. His presence settles the crowd almost immediately, and soon enough the entire ritual becomes dead silent, save for the crackles and pops that emit from the large fire pit. "Who's ready for a good time?" the handsome Bigfoot counselor says in his loud, booming voice. Our crowd of young professionals bursts into a raucous applause. "Oh, that's what I like to hear," continues the counselor. "How many of you work in an office?" A majority of the crowd raises their hands. The Bigfoot nods. "Well, this is our office," he says confidently, swinging out an arm behind him. "And for the next week, it's your office too. We want you to forget about the stress of the outside world and live in the moment while you're here at Bigfoot Butt Camp." A handful of other big feet suddenly emerge from the surrounding wilderness and stand before us, all clad in the same uniform. They are a shockingly handsome bunch, and although I've never been sexually attracted to another man before, Their impeccable Sasquatch features are hard to deny. My name is Rim Barcoon, announces our speaker. Over the next week, you'll get to know me quite well, along with all of the other counsellors. If you see anyone in this uniform, then we're here to help you. Jeff leans over to me, speaks in a hushed voice. Dude, is it just me or is Rem kind of odd? I shake my head in amazement. I was thinking the same thing. I mean, they are all pretty hot. Does that make us gay? Jeff jokes. I laugh. I don't think so, man. It's fine to be gay for Bigfoot. It's fine to be gay for anyone. It's fine to be gay for a straight couple. What? Don't listen to me. I'm tired. I've been tired for days. Rim Barcoon steps out in front of his fellow counsellors now, his voice immediately taking on a more serious tone. Now, we're going to have a lot of fun this weekend. I promise you that. But we are going to have something a little serious to address here, right off the bat. Rim scans the crowd with his eyes, making sure that every single one of us is giving our full attention to the message he's about to deliver. We plan these camps the best that we can, but every once in a while they end up on the evening of a full moon. That's our bad, Rim admits, putting his hand up. I could give you some kind of excuse about the moon colonization throwing things off. What? But we should have known better. You've already paid for a full week, so we will be cutting one day off your total bill. But all of tonight's activities have been cancelled. Concerned chatter suddenly erupts through our crowd. I know, says Rim. But this is very important for everyone's safety. All of the counsellors here have a very specific medical condition that will only be an issue tonight during the full moon. During that time, we need every one of you to stay in your tents. Is that understood? So the Bigfoots are the werewolves. What? I don't know if I'm believing this anymore. I don't know. I don't know. Jeff suddenly raises his hand. I glance over at him, utterly mortified as I try and get him to pull it down. Before I can, however, the handsome, muscular Bigfoot has spotted him. Yes, you there, says Rim. Jeff stands up. Hi. I was just wondering if you could tell us what this medical condition is. Is it dangerous? Can humans catch it? Rim exchanges glances with the rest of the mythical creatures before us. Finally, his gaze returns to Jeff. I understand your concern. I really do. Which is why we are offering free refunds to anyone who wants to leave now. To answer your question, no, humans can't catch this, but there are other issues to be concerned about. Regardless, if you stay in your tent, you'll absolutely not be harmed. That's a guarantee. If they're like werewolves, I don't know about a tent. I would be thinking like maybe some kind of fortified scout hall wherever people camp. Jeff seems satisfied with this answer and sits back down. What's the medical condition? Someone else shouts from the crowd. Just tell us. Unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly what this medical condition is, thanks to the Bigfoot Human Integration Act of 2016, explains Rim. If anyone would like to receive their refund, they can leave now. We have an assistant counsellor waiting in the parking lot who can help you with that. A handful of campers stand up and make their way down from the wooden benches, heading back towards the lot. Jeff leans in towards me. Are you scared? His words enter my ears, but somehow get lost before reaching my brain. Oh, sir, this is an absolutely enormous mood. Instead, my focus is utterly singular, my eyes gazing upon the gorgeous visage of Rim Barcoon. The Bigfoot is unlike anyone I have ever laid eyes on, and the longer I stare, the more deeply in love I fall with this majestic creature of the forest. He is the perfect combination of down-home good looks and a bad boy, Bigfoot attitude. I'm hooked, and I'm definitely not going anywhere. Are you scared? Jeff repeats. Ken? I finally shake my head. Nah, man, I'm excited for the week. Who cares about one night stuck in our tent? Jeff shrugs, nodding in agreement. What is the worst that could happen? Dun dun dun. And now I'm actually feeling a little bit unwell. Very tired, but also a little bit, a little bit unwell. Nothing to worry about. I just think if I laugh as hard at this one as I did at the last one, I might hurt my throat quite badly. So I will be picking up The Curse of Bigfoot Butt Camp. But it won't be until probably the 30th of June, because my sister is arriving tomorrow on my actual birthday. I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing her. And she's leaving on the 30th, so I'll be able to start reading to you guys again. I must not be vexed. I'm feeling vaguely unwell in the chest region. So, you can die of that if you're Kathy. I'm pretty sure it's just from laughing and coughing too much. But, yes, I will. Come on, guys, wish me happy birthday. No, do it tomorrow and do it on Twitter. I don't really look on Facebook. I could do a reading of the, not pounded by anything and that's okay, that kind of thing. Yeah. She might. I doubt she'd want me to do a Valette reading. I don't think she'd find it very interesting. But thank you guys for being here. It's been really fun, and we have all learned a lot about a forest of dicks. Tali may or may not join us someday, but not for the erotic ones. She will find that incredibly disgusting read by me. Which is fair. I wouldn't watch them read by her either. But yes, thank you all so much for being here. And I will see you when I see you. I shall be an adult then. You will have to call me Mr. Parker. Okay, thanks, guys. Have a good night. Stay warm. Stay safe. Look after each other and wash your hands. Good night, everyone. Good night.